The regular legislative session is over for the most part, but that doesn't mean all the work is done. I mean, one of the things about the first year of the two-year legislative session, a whole lot of things get put off. And if there are bills that are complicated or controversial or really difficult for committees to form an opinion about, both the House and the Senate have options for kind of punting on those issues. And that's certainly what both the House and Senate have done with about 180 bills this year. In the House, they actually retained them. All that's required is a vote by the committee. These bills don't actually come to the full House to be decided upon. If the committee says we want to retain this bill for that first year of the second year session, they can do that. In the Senate, they actually have to, full Senate has to vote on whether to re-refer that bill back to committee. If they do, they do that. And about 30 bills have been re-referred to Senate committees. About 130 bills have been retained by House committees. There are some fairly significant measures. Senate President Peter Bragdon has several of them, his bills that have been retained. One to close the Merrimack ramp toll off the Effingham Turnpike, something he really wants to get accomplished. House leadership has indicated they're open to the idea, but they really want to do it as part of a comprehensive package for future financing of turnpike improvements, which may, by the way, include a toll increase. He also has legislation setting up a relief fund for the victims of the financial resources mortgage scandal. The Senate certainly liked the idea. The House really wanted to study it further. House Commerce Committee wants to take a look at that. The primary issue is how do you fund the fund? How do you raise the money to provide the kind of relief to victims? Do you charge all basically the question is, how do you fund the fund? How do you raise the money to assist the victims? Do you provide that there should be a fee or an assessment against all financial security companies, whether it's banks, insurance companies, securities companies, or do you only look at mortgage companies, which after all was the primary offender here? Was FRM was ostensibly a mortgage company that was regulated by the banking department. So they want to take a look and study that as well. There's legislation trying to better define push polling because of federal judges essentially said our push polling law was vague and also couldn't be applied against federal candidates. As an attempt to better define what is a push poll and what isn't. There's also campaign finance legislation that tries to require more disclosure of independent groups and the spending they do in campaigns, but at the same time raise campaign donation limits, which haven't been raised in more than 20 years, to allow individuals to contribute more to campaigns, which would increase their influence and reduce the influence, therefore, of big money that supports these independent expenditures. That's certainly an option for the legislature in the first year. That'll keep us very busy in the late summer and fall here at the State House.